Hello friends, we are here in John chapter 10. So this is a continuation of a conversation that was happening in the previous chapter. He was talking to some people that believed him, but also the Pharisees. And the Pharisees were saying, hey, are we also blind? And he says, if you guys had even said that you were blind, I might be able to give you sight. But because you claim that you have sight, there's really nothing I can do for you. You're not asking for help. You're not seeking the Father. Now this chapter is basically a continuation of this thought of being blind and seeing. And it's not the kind of sight like he did, in the previous chapter. He healed a man that was born blind. And this was an example of a spiritual truth. But it's more than just spiritual sight. He's talking about spiritual senses. He's talking about spiritual hearing. So in this chapter, he tells a parable about these sheep, and they're in like a sheepfold, like a gate. It's just area that you would put sheep in at night, and it keeps the sheep from being attacked. What they would do back then is they would have one big sheepfold, and different shepherds would come and bring their sheep to the sheepfold. And what's interesting is that sheep really do know the voice of their shepherd. So even though the sheep will all get mixed up, if the shepherd comes and says, all right, come out, the sheep will divide perfectly. The ones who know their shepherd, they will be able to just file out, and it works perfectly, and it works every time, and it still works today. And this is still a system that happens. It's kind of amazing if you're to see it. It's the sheep just know the shepherd's voice. And so he tells this story, and he says, if someone comes in and they don't come in by the sheep gate, they are not the shepherd. The shepherd comes in by the gate, and the gatekeeper, the person who's there that would watch them all night usually, they will let the person in. These are the legitimate people that own the sheep. And he could tell these Pharisees, John is saying, these Pharisees that Jesus is talking to, they didn't get it, and rightfully so. It doesn't make sense at first glance, but he explains it in a kind of an interesting way. He starts by saying, I am the door. Now that's not where I thought he would go first. I thought he would start off by saying that he is the good shepherd, and eventually he does say that, but he's making a point first here. He says, I am the door. I am the door by which the sheep get out. Now this is very important. He is saying, I am the door. I am the way by which you can get to the Father. I am the way by which, you can't, he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Not in this chapter, but later on he'll say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. And so that's what he's saying here. I am the door. The way that you can do it is by following. And then he says, I am also, it's funny that he's the door, but he's also the shepherd. He's also the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. He can be more things at once, but in this metaphor, in this analogy that he's using, he's saying, I am the good shepherd, and I lay down my life for the sheep. It's the Father has given me these sheep. These sheep are mine, and I love them, and I love them so much that I will lay down my life for them. It's interesting, it's amazing that he knew that he was going to die, and he even here foretells to all the Jews that it was there, I'm going to lay down my life. He said it right in front of them. I'm going to lay down my life, and then I'm going to bring it back up again. The crucifixion of Jesus was not something unfortunate that happened. It was something that was planned all along for the salvation of man And Jesus foretold it. He foretold it many times, but here he's foretelling it right in front of the religious leaders of the time, right there in the temple. I think it's so amazing that someday, later on in this story, these people are going to remember, like, oh yeah, Jesus said that. So he goes on, and another conversation that happens later on, happens in the winter. They say, are you the Christ? Are you the one? And he's saying, I keep saying that I am. I keep saying that I am, and you guys just don't listen to me. And he's saying, again, this idea that my sheep hear my voice. If you're one of mine, then you will hear it. You will see it. Now this is interesting. It's interesting to me that you can't just explain the gospel to just anybody because their eyes are closed. There's something spiritual that is happening in the soul of a believer. Something that is different from just convincing someone or just showing someone. Some people had all the evidence that the other people had, and some people believed and some people didn't. And it even says that some people were saying, this man has a demon, and other people were saying, these are not the words of someone who's demon possessed. Moreover, look at the signs that he's doing. And at the end of the chapter, they talk about John, and they said, John, whom we all believed. John was a big star back then. It was someone that everybody said, that is the man that is speaking the truth. And yet he didn't do miracles. But John said, this man, he is the Son of God. And then Jesus comes by and he's doing these miracles. And he said, and it says in the end, and some believed. They didn't all believe. Only the ones who were his sheep believed. So I guess if I'm to take away anything from this, I would say, it is important to have real reasons for your faith. It's important to have reasons to tell people the reason for what you believe. But what it really comes down to is that you have a spirit. Some people say that we are people with a spirit, and other people say, it may be more accurate to say that we are a spirit and that we have a body. But that spirit that exists in us, we need to see with the Spirit. I would say, start praying. Start building up a relationship with God so that you can be able to see it. Don't start with the philosophy books. Start with Jesus. Start with your relationship with God. Start with prayer. So there's more to it than that. I believe that it's backed up by logic, but you should start with the Spirit. Anyways, that is John chapter 10. Have a great day. Bye.